Hello, hi, my name is Rachel, highly favored Babineau. Welcome to the foundation of my color, where God is the foundation. Today's guest is Miss Skylar Jenkins Thomas. I call her Sky Blue, and we're going to be welcoming her in to the foundation of my color. Miss Sky Blue, we welcome you. Come on in.
Hello, Anita.
Well, hello, dear. Yes. How are you today?
Like your name is blessed and highly favored.
Okay, all right. Thank you for joining the foundation of my color, Miss Sky. It's a pleasure to have you here. I've been wanting to get you in. You're such a busy lady, but I wanted everyone to know what is it that you do in the community in St. Landry Parish and how important it is and how much you are of value to our community. So with that being said, before you do that, I just want you to tell us a little bit about Sky.
Well, I am Opelousas native, born and raised. I'm just a mother of four, just off the hill. Of course, my background is mental health, alumni of the Southern University.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty much just a family oriented woman that advocate for mental health.
Yeah. Wait a minute. So I watch your 20. Tell me how you go. 2040 is the
yes,
interview where you're a sharecropper, or are you a what is it?
I was into farming at that time.
All right.
And we had to say like a couple of questions. Some was true, some was false, and they didn't believe that at all.
Really?
But I got into that only because of my son.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been planting since he was like 2.
Really?
Yes, his first plant was a strawberry plant. Yes, he cried.
So who taught him how to do that?
He has a green thumb. I don't know. That was something he did on his own.
So let us know your son's name. Let us know all your kids' names, because you have some. I call them famous kids. Now your son not too much in the spotlight, but your girl's always out there. Right. You got one in particular, baby. She just.
Well, my oldest is Caleb Rubin, and my middle child is London Francis. My last born child that I gave birth to is Camille Rose Francis. Everybody know her as Millie Rose. And I do have a daughter that I'm raising, and her name is Jacelyn Simeon.
Okay, all right. A mother of 4.
Correct.
Yes, and also she recently got married.
Did.
And a beautiful wedding in Hawaii, which I didn't get an invite to. Nah. Joking. But anyway, Sky, tell us about that, because I know that was a wonderful experience. I seen that your wedding even made the cover of a magazine.
It did. It was, of course, nerve-wracking, but I wouldn't change anything about it. I had a wedding planner from here, Cotessa. She did a marvelous job. And, I wanted this and I wanted that. And, after speaking with the wedding planner in Hawaii, she was like, that background you have, you don't need none of that. And she was exactly correct. The view was literally something to die for.
Really?
That is, you really have to be there. That naked eye is what you need in order to experience what I experienced. On top of my husband being there.
Right.
But everything was beautiful. It was very intimate, closed setting.
Yes.
People that supported us was there, and we loved it.
Oh, wow. So she talked about the wedding, you guys. So we're going to throw her under the bus for a minute. You didn't even tell us your husband's name. Give us pronounce his name?
Antonio Thomas.
All right. Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, we got you out there now. She was telling us all about the wedding, but we wanted to know your name. So, Miss Skylar Thomas, the infamous Sky Blue, tell us about mental health, because I know that right there is your passion. We got all the little good fun stuff out the way, but I know you are very serious when it comes to mental health, and you know that has been a major concern within our community.
Mental health has no picks and chooses. It come in rare form. However it comes. When I get asked what is mental health all the time, and the thing is, mental health is me. I represent mental health. Mental health, you represent mental health. The people behind the cameras, on camera, however it is, mental health is everyone, is everything. So it's not a stereotype thing, because mental health, it goes from you having depression all the way up to manic, schizophrenia, bipolar. It just depends on how you handle mental health. You can have a day of let's not even say a day, let's say a minute of feeling down, sad, however it is, that's considered outside the norm. That's considered mental health. If you get angry or frustrated behind that, that is considered mental health. A lot of people don't know that. They just think, if I'm talking to myself, or if I have a manic breakdown, or if I'm diagnosed, that's mental health. No, mental health is me, you, and whoever else.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good evaluation to let us know. That's good information.
It
so
is.
You telling me when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh God, this is one of those days I'm
Yep.
having a mental health moment.
Yep, you having outside the norm. Anything that is not your normal activity, that's considered mental health.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So tell us, what do you do when it comes to the mental health challenges within the community as for providing the services? I know you have businesses. You can go ahead and, just let us know about the businesses and what type of services that you guys provide, for your business, for mental health, and what is, because I know you have other things that you do besides that.
Right.
So,
well, at Pivotal Moments, we offer counseling and therapy, and some of it is individual, some of it is group. It just depends on what you're coming in for. Mm-hmm. We do offer the ACT program, where we go into the community and help homelessness clients, members, however you guys look at it. We do rehabilitation on getting them back into their normal life. What else? Another program we're about to offer is IOP, and that's dealing with drug rehab.
Okay.
But it's outpatient instead of intensive. Like if they come from addiction stay or acute care, they'll be recommended to come to us for 3 to 4 days a week. But we offer so much, anything that falls under behavior health. That's what we do.
Okay, so if someone was in jail, incarcerated, and they needed mental health services or services when it comes as for addiction, so you guys would be able to provide that?
We actually do.
Okay.
And we were doing it before COVID hit. And when COVID hit, everyone got scared and, backed away from the scene or whatnot. But we was getting referrals left and right, especially from, I think it was Judge Alonzo Harris. He was recommending that they seek help or counseling before they be released. And our company would come in, implement it inside the jail. And once we felt like they were ready to be released, then we'd do the letter of recommendation, and he would release them upon our care.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually had a great successful rate doing that. Like
That's awesome.
We have a lot of inmates that was incarcerated and actually doing well now.
That's very good to hear. So what else do you provide? I know you have a transportation service.
Yes, we do non-emergency transportation. We operate as Extra Miles, Pivotal Moments Extra Miles. We actually just got another contract. So we expanding. We travel all over, not just Region 4. We go through Region 5, 6, wherever it is. Because some people think we're just locally. No, we go all over New Orleans. We even went close to the border, Arkansas. We go all over. So it just depends on, where they need to go and if we can transport them.
Right.
Yeah, the availability.
Yes. So basically, it's availability and the need upon the availability.
Right. It is definitely a need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else is going on? Whoa. Don't blind me.
What?
So she raised her hand earlier, and she said when she was telling us about the beautiful nuptial in Hawaii, and then she did this, but it didn't do. It just kind of flashed. But then while I was talking to her, and I looked down, and I know you can see it because it's huge. I can see it. I mean, look, it's gorgeous, girl. Mr. Thomas, you're a lucky man.
Ooh, he blessed, honey. He blessed.
So tell us about your girls. Tell us about Millie.
Oh,
because I seen a video the other day on Facebook about
Correct.
Millie. Millie, you were saying about losing 20 pounds, and she turned and she was like, what?
Oh, Camille is different, and I always said that she's different. She reminds me so much of my mother. Very straightforward. Gonna give it to you raw. Spares, no feeling. If something needs to be fixed, we gonna fix it. You're not gonna fix it alone. We gonna do it together. She's that type of child. And my other two, they are, they calm spirited, just relaxed, easy going. But that firecracker right there, ooh.
She's a fashionista as well.
Yes, she's very smart. She's actually my sharpest pencil. She's very smart. She could act. I mean, she look at things and just go with it. Like she could read it one time and just get it, And she's an overthinker. She can quote you the Bible. She's just that kid. I feel like she's gonna just do great things, and I always pray and ask God that let me live long enough to just walk beside her, because her dreams just is beyond. I always tell them the sky is not the limit. It's beyond.
Right.
It's limitless.
Right.
And she's that child that's gonna push. It give me chills just speaking of her, because if you meet her in person, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. But she's every bit of my mother, every bit of the Jenkins side of my family.
Well, the Jenkins side of your family, I've been knowing. I don't know all your aunts, but a couple of them I do know. Barbara, a very wonderful person. Londa, very spirited, wonderful girl. I love her so much. And your mom, oh my God, what we can say about Evelyn?
She forever 21.
She forever 21, honey. Evelyn she's a fashionista. She's a go-getter. She's everything all in one. She's one of those cool mamas,
Right.
She never gets young. It's always, and we love her. We do. We love her. So, I watch you as a young adult.
Okay.
I paid attention. I
Okay.
remember when you first look. Let me tell you. I remember when you first started your business, and I admired you,
Wow.
and I remember seeing you post weight on it, and I kept saying, "What is next? What is next?" Then you come with the G wagon.
Oh.
And when I seen that, I said, well, she ain't playing. She mean weight on
Ah.
it. Now, you know I'm not. I've been watching you. I'm telling you. Because I admired what you do.
Right.
I've been admiring what you've been doing for a very long time. And I just wanted to honor you today because of what you do. I see how hard you work. I see what you're doing in the community. I see how much you work in the community. I see your efforts. I see your nonprofit. You didn't talk about that.
I didn't. My nonprofit is my baby because we help clothe the community, and it's not just the parish that I'm from, it's surrounding parishes. I got a family, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, that was in need, and I met a colleague of mine from school, and just networking, we rekindled, and he was just like, what you can do to help. And I know this out your jurisdiction, and I was like, nothing is out my jurisdiction. If I got it, they have it, And just because, we are located, I'm from St. Landry, I service everyone. I don't care what it is. My heart is in what I do. And I'm passionate about what I do. My nonprofit help house, we help clothe, groceries, whatever it is that a family is in need of, that's us. That's what we represent. I want them to call. When we first started out, it was a lot of families embarrassed. Everything we do is HIPAA compliance. Unless you give us the okay to bless you in front of the cameras, then that's the only way. Your face will be shown, but everything is strictly confidential. And just doing what we do, a lot of stuff I don't need recognition for that.
Right.
I don't even want recognition for a lot of things that I do. And you can ask people amongst our area. It's a lot of things that we do that we don't get recognition for, and I'm not looking for it.
Right.
Because my heart is right.
Look, you said a mouthful right there. The ones who looking for recognition, the only recognition you're going to get is here. But your reward, when you just store, is up there.
Right.
I'm the same way, I'm not a wealthy person. I won't sit here and act like I have a lot of money. But when it's a need and I can help, I do that. But I always say, do not put me out there. I don't need to be recognized for anything. Matter of fact, don't even say I gave it to you.
Right. Exactly.
It's no need for that.
Exactly.
Because when you do that, the only reward you're getting is right there. I want to store my reward somewhere else in the heavenly places. It's nothing to do with earthly.
Right.
So I commend you for that. Like I said, you didn't know, but I've been watching you. I've been watching you for a very long time. That's why I when you reached out to me about an issue that was going on,
right?
And I told you, I was like, I've been admiring you. I see what you're doing. I'm very, very proud of you, Skylar, and I know your family as well.
They are.
It's just a blessing to see someone your age accomplishing the things that you have accomplished.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take all the credit because I come from a family of giving. I come from a family of business owners. That's what I saw. So it's not at the ordinary for me to do what I do. I was raised that way.
Right.
So yeah, I can't take all credit. I'm just implementing what was
in store.
Exactly.
That's it. And I was gonna say that you come from a generation of business owners. Your grandfather,
right?
he had one of the first taxi cab services in
Yes.
St. Landry Parish, probably.
Right,
you know?
right.
Still up and running.
Still up and running. It's over 50 years.
Right.
You know, I'm giving credit to where credit due. My aunts and my uncles my mother is doing an awesome job. So I commend them for setting that example for, you know, me and my cousins.
Right.
And my kids and their kids. Some of them may not own their own businesses, but I bet you I can call them and be like, okay, I'm stuck here. Which way I should go? You know?
Right.
And that's what I love. I love the dynamics of me and my cousins because I'm able to do that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Mm-hmm. So what new projects you have going on now, dear? No? Okay.
No, just know that we are, and when I say we, because Pivotal Moments operate as a team, it's not a one-man show. And we have great things coming for we actually have a dance coming up. And we have J. Paul playing.
All right.
That's December 17th.
Where is it going to be held?
At the Opelousas Life Church, the golf complex.
Okay.
On Prudhoe.
Okay.
I think Pastor Kearney owns it. Opelousas Life Church. He's the pastor there. We're gonna be serving free food, giving door prizes. The only thing we do ask is that you guys donate, because that's going right back into the community actually the following week, because we getting prepared to bless families for Christmas. What else?
So what type of donations are you looking
monetary,
for? Monetary, okay.
Yes, monetary donations are greatly appreciated, and it don't matter. The box is going to be covered. If you donate a penny, we are just as excited as it was $100. It don't matter.
Right.
You know.
Okay. And so you guys are having an event you're having a fundraiser to give back to the community. Basically.
Correct. You can look at it that way, but when I looked at the event, we did it before COVID hit, and it was a great event. I look at it as though, you know, a lot of people can't afford to go see J. Paul and have a good time and enjoy music, you know, and like a fun-filled environment. And I'm like, you know, every year around the holidays, the rates go up with suicide, killing, and there's a lot of frustration because kids see, you know, other kids being blessed or other kids blessed, and they take their frustration out on the world. You know, we have a lot of senseless killings going on right now, but that I'm giving them that opportunity to come out, enjoy yourself, dress up, because dress code is enforced. You know, just when you dress, you know, I don't know how y'all feel, but when I get dressed, I be like, hey, you know, she here. You know, I mean, it boosts my confidence. It just, you know, it gets me there where I need to be. So that's why we doing what we do, because we want the communities to come together, because that's what we need, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people ask, oh, why don't you run for this and run for that? I don't need to run for no office to do what I do.
All right.
You know, I'm going to continue doing what I do. The only thing I can do is help aid whoever in office. You know, what could we do to make our city better? You know, let's network and get this thing going together and be done with it. So, I mean, let's come together.
Let's come together.
That's it.
That's it. So let me ask you something. So during the you mentioned about the politicians in office. Mm-hmm. So, and also getting back to mental health. Mm-hmm. And the killings, the suicide rate, and all those things that's happening right now. We witnessed some things that happened last night.
Yes.
A very dear friend to me,
Right.
her kid's father.
Right.
But I want to say is, how could the pivotal moments assist with the mental health? Because we all know, you just explained to us about mental health, so we know that it's going to be a challenge there. So, offering assistance through the city, you said, right? You partner with the city.
Correct.
What can be done? What can be done there with to have a partnership to help with this mental health? And I say that because I don't know if you knew Aaron Washington. He passed away recently. But Aaron Washington was a very good friend of mine. I was waiting for someone to call me back about his services, and I never got the call. So I missed the services, from what I was told. Broke my heart, because I was one of them that was walking with Aaron. That's how I said. Don't tell nobody I was helping. I was walking with Aaron through his season, and it was a challenge there.
Right.
And I never thought to reach out to you and ask for assistance for mental health, or whatever it was. But he was such a dear friend, and I loved him so much. I wish, what happened to him was tragic, but I wish, I would have known, and that would have helped. But let me just tell you, God is so good.
Yes, he is. I give him praise all the time.
Oh, God is so good, because all I did was talk to Aaron about God. Aaron received the word, and Aaron changed. Transformation began right there. And I just thank God for that, because of that. He was introduced to me by another dear friend of mine, Miss Anna Simmons. Okay. And we just moved. He and I walked through the season, and it blessed me. It hurt me, but it blessed me, know. So I just thought about that, and I'm wondering, maybe they need to get with you and start a partnership. Maybe the city needs to come into some kind of contract or agreement with Pivotal Moments. You're located in the city.
Correct.
And that way, when somebody walk into that office and they're having some type of issue, you guys are there.
Right. We are. Well, I think the first step that we need to do as a community is bring awareness. It was so shocking with me going into the jailhouse, and one of our clients said, I didn't even know this was available for us. Where y'all come from? And one person, the other person was like, I thought that was just offered to other people, not to us. So it's one thing about knowing, mental health, and it's another thing about bringing awareness, breaking the stigma. If we out here educating, it takes a village to educate. We are just one company, which they have multiple companies, and there are great companies in St. Landry Parish that does the same thing that I do. So I mean, if we all connect together, we'll be a force.
Right.
I even spoke of doing Mental Health Awareness Month, bringing a parade. Let's recognize. Let's normalize.
Right. Right.
It's okay to be not okay.
Yeah.
Who walks around happy every day? Facebook is not Facebook. Well, social media is not social media. Because it's good, bad, ugly. What we have in reality. Let's break down what we have in reality. Let's break those walls together. Right. And we'll be a force. So the first thing we can do is just let's raise awareness and break the stigma. Let's talk.
So we do have a mental health month, correct?
Correct.
What month is that?
May.
May. Okay. So May is Mental Health Month. So and why not M&M? So why not put something together? Anything. Something.
It was talk brought up, and they heard my idea, and it may be in the works, but once we get everythh finalized, I mean, we'll start broadcasting and moving forward on it. But right now, our focus is just continue doing what we're doing, raising awareness. But I really think that the parade and seminars that we'll be given throughout that month is going to help, with people coming out with the issues, and I speak on this often when I do speak. Times have changed to where, let's say, for instance, when my parents was coming up, you know how they used to say, oh, whatever goes on in this house stays in this house? Versus me raising my kids, if you need help and I can't help you, go talk to somebody. If something is happening to you and you can't come talk to me, which I do have a great a great family base to where my kids can go and say, this is happening and or that is happening. But they shouldn't have any reason of not coming to me. Just go talk to somebody. I don't believe in whatever goes on in this house stays in this house.
Right.
Because back in the days, we were families was experiencing incest, rape, is it all kinds of things, depression, and that led to suicide, those type of things. I always tell my kids to be open about. And if you're not open about it, how are we supposed to help?
And how you supposed
That's
to help?
why I always say, let's talk.
Right.
You're
right.
Let's get rooted in the situation.
Yes. That's an awesome thing. You're right. What goes on in the house,
right,
stays in the house. That was one of the
it was
the main rule.
I know.
It was the main rule. Whatever goes on in my house gonna stay in my house. Yeah, we heard that a lot.
Right. I heard it from the older generation, but not I don't hear it now.
No, you don't hear it now because it was like that in the older generation, but it also was the village type.
Correct.
Because I know when I grew up, if we did something and Miss Anna or Miss Shirley seen us doing something,
correct,
and they would put the power out to us, when we get home, we got it again.
Right. That is so true because,
yes.
I grew up on the back. And I still have neighbors that I stop and speak to, the Stellies, I stop and talk to them or whatnot. They had permission to whoop us.
Right.
They had permission to correct us.
Right.
Now it's just like neighbors are to themselves.
No. You better not touch my child.
Exactly, that too.
You better not touch my child.
Even when we're doing our counseling and stuff, taking the proper steps and protocols to help the child, parents are intervening. My child is not doing that. And I'm like, it's not anything illegal. It's part of your child's treatment. So why not? So that it do take a village, and people's like, oh, they be like, oh, I don't need nobody, or what, you're gonna need someone.
Yes.
Regardless. You may not need that person, that you felt like you outgrew, but you're gonna need someone. Yep.
You're right. So, mental health is a very important issue in just in the country. It's not
All
just in
over.
St. Landry Parish.
Yes,
You know,
it's all
it's
over.
all over. And right now, more than ever in Opelousas, you know, I know for a fact, with all the things that's going on now, it is definitely taking a toll on everyone's mental health.
It is.
And I'm pretty sure more on the politicians than anyone else because it's not their fault. They can't control it.
No.
You know, because you can't control what other people do. You know,
At all.
you really can't. So it's not their fault. We can't control it. So I know it's taking a toll on them. So my thing to them is just continue to trust God, if you trust God, but continue to trust God in this season and know that He's working behind the scenes. We have to know that.
Yes.
You know, He's working behind the scenes no matter what's going on. He's there, you know.
Yeah.
And I know you know this more than anyone because we look at you and we see, oh, you see the perfect Sky, but Sky had a tragedy. A tragedy in her life that I walked through that season with you. You didn't even realize it, but I was walking and behind the scenes, I was covering you and your kids because I seen, you know. So I know that mental health, I understand why mental health is so important to you because I get it, you know.
Right. I was there, you know, when I visit depression, I visit grief nonstop for what, 3 months? I stayed in bed 3 months not knowing what was going on, what was transpiring.
And had a business at the same time.
Exactly. How it happened, I gave him praise because I was completely shut off from the world. Like completely. If it wasn't dealing with my kids and what they needed, I didn't know. You know, that incident still affects me today. And you know, grief has no time, no limit, and it's not just him, not just with Brennan. You know, is the passing of all my loved ones. You know, my Alonda son.
That's right.
You know, and then her husband,
right.
Delonzo.
Right.
So you know, all those that. And what was so crazy is that, you know, you grieving over one and then the other one hits, you know, within 6 months.
Right when you trying to process this one,
right,
something else happens.
Right. And now I could look at it this life. You know, we're going to deal with this the rest of our life. And it's what we do to come out of it. Mm-hmm. You know, if we stay there and we stay stuck, that's when a company like myself come in and help you transition to the next part of your life. Like I told you in the beginning of the interview, everybody experiences mental health, and it's not a time, it's not a place. When it hits you, it hits you. So me being, you know, I didn't know I stayed in bed. Like, I really didn't know I was in bed for 3 months. You know, one of my good friends was like, when I came back to work, they was like, you okay? Yep, let's go. And I hit it, running. But people need to know, if you're suffering with anything, don't overlook it. Go through that. Don't bury those problems. Go through it. I mean, as long as you live, you're gonna encounter some type of issues, some abnormality in your life. Go through it, and it's okay. You know, I've been in mental health for 18 plus years, and it's not one person I've came encounter with that didn't have an issue with something. It may have been small, it may have been big. It don't matter. Mental health is mental health. You know, I walk around with my My halo is a green halo because our colors is green.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happen to be one of my favorite colors. So I want to be the face of mental health. No, I'm not perfect. But I'm the perfect example to represent, to raise awareness. And I'm happy for it, I'm getting my second master's in counseling. So it's just, it's ordained for me to do what I do. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. So I mean, I don't, as what outsiders see as a term, all dealing with mental health, it's just like a bright day to me, if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
when you doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's right.
So I mean, I can take a stranger and break down their mind, and I love doing it. And it's not to antagonize, it's just to see what they're thinking. I love psychology. I love, and you could ask my kids and my husband, is documentaries. I love watching that. So just to see the psychological view of everything, and it is intriguing. And I love helping. I love giving. If I could save the world, I probably would.
Mm-hmm. I bet you would. I know you would. I know you would. If you could, I know you would. I know you would.
And I would enjoy doing it.
You would. You would. Once again, I told you guys, she's a beautiful soul, inside and out. She said it. She's the perfect face for mental health. What you see is what you get. And once again, I thank you so much for being a part of the foundation of My Color.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, look, I've been wanting to get you on. I told you, you have to come on and you have to give your story. I didn't want to make it a interview. I wanted you to give your story because you have a beautiful story. Look, in the beginning, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle is tragic.
Yes.
And at the end is back beautiful.
Right.
And I think that's how all stories are, no matter how they end. Because even if if your story end through transitioning,
mm-hmm.
guess what? You're still going home to glory.
Right.
So you still got
right.
a good story.
Correct.
And I heard something today in church. When he said he mentioned something today, and you said it earlier. He was like, if you about mental health, but
mm-hmm.
he didn't say mental health.
Right.
He was just like, if you thinking about something and it's bothering you, you need to talk about it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that when you speak on anything, you feel better about it. When you talk, it's like it's a weight lifting off of your shoulders. But I mean, if you don't know about talking about it,
right,
how could you walk through it?
How could you walk through it?
Yeah.
So you girls, we want to invite you girls to be a part of our children's segment. We're having a children's segment coming up. I think it's the weekend, the Sunday before Christmas. It won't be Christmas Day. It'll be the Sunday before Christmas. We're gonna have our kids segment where we're gonna be giving away things to kids, and we're gonna have kids come in, and of course we would love for Millie in London. Now we talked about Millie. Mm-hmm. But before we end, because we was about to get off air, but we want to talk about London, because London is the planner. I would watch her plan your vacation, and you would talk about how she's so detailed in doing it. Tell London she needs to come plan a vacation for me.
London is, she's, like her dad always used to say, if something was to happen to me in front of London, she'd be the one to save me.
Really?
Yes, this child is just God's gift because she is my type of perfect. You know, she's the mother of my family. She's that glue that keeps us together. London is my strength. She's my weakness. She shaped and molded me into motherhood. I had my son at a early age, so we grew up together. But, London transitioned me into motherhood. I was already a mother, and I was doing the things that I needed to do for my son. I was walking in because I knew that a mother's supposed to do this, but London taught me how to be a mother, how to love appropriately, and I thank her for that. I mean, I don't know if she's watching or not, but...
Oh, she's watching. Millie is making sure that she's watching.
But London is the one who shaped and molded me into being that loving mother I am today. So that's why I'm able to love on all my kids. You know how them children say, oh, you do this more than this one and stuff like that. And I'm just like, as I'm a growing mother and I'm still learning because I still make mistakes. I know that I can't treat Camille the way I treat London. I parent differently. And that's what I tell everyone, they be like, oh, I love my kids the same. I do love my kids the same, but I love them differently the way they receive it. With my oldest, he's tall and solid, but I gotta be gentle with him. And at one point, I thought I needed to be a little tough, but I can't do that. I can't do that with him, and it's something I had to learn. Because as he transitioned, and mind you, I don't know about, the teenage years and stuff like that. I know of what I was taught and my educational background, but as for him coming from a preteen to a teen, and, we experienced in adolescence, parents have to, have to transition with their child. Because I found myself treating my 16-year-old like he was a 13-year-old. And I didn't know that until something had happened, and I was like, okay, I didn't transition with him. So now I know I have a 20-year-old, and he's eventually gonna be 21. I have to transit. It's different steps.
Right.
We have to transition with our kids. If not, we're gonna lose them. And that's the last thing that I want to do is, lose my kids because I'm not transitioning with them. Opening up. I am a strict parent. Believe it or not, I am.
Look,
and
I'm hitting Millie on him.
I am, and I was actually talking to one of my good friends about it. I am a strict parent. I know I am, but it's only so much I could have done with a 20-year-old. He can sign for this, but he still call Mom, I'm going through this, Mom, what you think about this? He at a museum right now sending me pictures. What you think about this? It's we as parents have to adapt and be more involved into our kids' life. I find a lot that we are, we not. It's a lot of parents that's not, and I'm not saying that contributing to the rates, the crime rates that we have now, but it do play a factor, what child that's on a Sunday at the museum,
right?
Right. So it's that type of stuff we need to engage our kids into and stuff like that that I think that would decrease the crime rate. Because, a lot of these kids, they just need love.
Oh, yeah.
Just need that love, just need, you know, like the kids call me OC Mama Sky, because if they out of line, they know Mama Sky coming. You know, it's not Coach Sky, it's Mama Sky. You know, it's that type of stuff that I value. You know, and they know they can come talk to me. It's not just my kids. They know they can come talk to me. You know, I'm there. And it feels good to have that connection, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I got one question before we sign out.
Okay.
And then we're going to go with your kids. You told me all the wonderful things about your kid, but when you told me you were strict, I told you I hit that million look on you. But one more thing. Do you spoil them?
By all means.
I knew it.
By all means, I do spoil my kids. It's only because I was spoiled when I was coming up. I do tell them no for some things, you know, but they get more yes than no, only because my kids are great kids. And when I say great, they great for me. I appreciate what my kids do. I appreciate, you know, them coming to me and before they go to anybody else. And that's why I reward them. You know, the grades are good. I don't really have to worry about, you know, my son checking in or my daughter checking in. You know, the locations is shared. If you know, one time my son was in a club and he FaceTimed me and he was like, "Mama, they're about to fight." I said, "Well, you need to clear yourself from there." You know, so it's that stuff I value.
Right.
You know, it's not overlooked or whatever. And I just love, you know, I love just being there. I love doing life with them. You know, they more of a gift to me. But they not just spoiled by me. They spoiled by, you know, their nannies. They spoiled by my aunts. You know, my mom. They spoiled by everybody. And what I find crazy is that everyone in my family spoils everyone. You know, we are a close-knit family. We're not perfect, but we perfect for each other, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, you know,
right.
Whatever we can do to help, we're going to help.
Right.
And that's what I saw. So, yes, of course, my kids are spoiled.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Sky. I appreciate you, Miss Thomas, for coming in on the foundation of my color, being a part of this wonderful day which the Lord has made. And every time I look down, her ring kind of blind me.
Oh, stop it.
Can you hold it up? I hope Kevin Babby knows watching. Hold it up high.
Oh, your
I wish we
husband.
could zoom in on it, just for us to just take a good little look at it. It's beautiful. Oh, Lord. My girl, I thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for being a part of the foundation of my color. I want to tell everyone, God bless you all. Remember, keep God first in everything you do. But also remember, she said something about mental health and how it affects us all. But remember, while you're going through something, God is working behind the scenes for you. You might not feel it, you might not know it, but He is. He's always working. He's always working behind the scenes. So you guys keep Him first in all things. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of the foundation of my color. Today is Sunday, December the 4th. And before I sign off, I want to wish someone very special and dear to me a very happy birthday. I missed it on yesterday, but I want to tell them happy birthday, Uncle Mac Jr. Babineau. I love you dearly, and I wish you all the best, all the love, all the health and happiness that God is giving to you. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of it, my girl. I love you so much. Thank you.